skipped along the forest path, chasing a bright blue butterfly. The sunlight made the trees glow. I felt so happy. I loved exploring the forest. My amulet felt warm against my skin. It was shaped like a scarab beetle. It started to glow. The light pulsed softly. It seemed to be leading me forward. I followed the magical light, wondering what I would find.
Alex's heart beat faster. He was excited. The amulet glowed brighter now, leading him deeper into the forest. The trees grew taller here and the sunlight was harder to see. Alex felt a shiver of fear, but he kept going. He trusted his amulet.
I stopped. In front of me was a clearing, and in the middle of the clearing was a unicorn. The unicorn was pure white. It had a long, flowing mane, and on its forehead was a single, spiraling horn. But something was wrong. The unicorn was lying on the ground. It looked weak.
Alex crept closer, afraid to scare the unicorn. The unicorn lifted its head weakly. Its eyes were large and sad, the colour of amethysts. Alex had never seen anything so beautiful and so sad.
Please, you must help me.
The unicorn's voice was soft and musical, like the chime of tiny bells.
What's wrong?
Alex's voice trembled a little, but he kept it steady. He wanted to sound brave.
The goblins have stolen my tears. They are the source of the forest's magic. Without them, the forest will wither and die.
Alex knew what he had to do. He had to help the unicorn. He had to get its tears back. He had to save the forest.
Where are the goblins?
Beyond the whispering woods, beware, young one. The forest grows dark in their presence. Be strong, be brave.
Alex nodded. He was scared, but he was also determined. He would save the unicorn's tears. He would save the forest. He turned and ran towards the whispering woods. As Alex entered the whispering woods, the air grew cold. The trees pressed close. Their branches were gnarled and twisted, looking like skeletal fingers reaching out to grab him. The sunlight disappeared. The forest floor was dark and damp. Strange noises filled the air, rustling leaves, snapping twigs, whispers that seemed to come from the trees themselves. Alex shivered. He wished he had brought a jacket. He wished he had brought his dog, Sparky. Sparky wasn't allowed in the forest, but Alex wished he was here now. Sparky wouldn't be scared. Sparky would know what to do.
I took a deep breath. I told myself not to be scared. The whispers were just the wind. The strange noises were just animals. There was nothing to be afraid of.
He kept walking. The forest grew darker. The whispers grew louder. Alex started to feel uneasy. He felt like he was being watched. He could hear the sound of his own heartbeat in his ears. Thump, 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 thump. It was so loud. Alex stopped. He listened carefully. He thought he heard something else, something that wasn't the wind, something that wasn't an animal. It was a giggle, a high-pitched, mischievous giggle, and it was coming from behind him.
Section 5, the Goblin Fortress.
Alex spun around.
But there was nothing there.
He must have imagined it.
He told himself to calm down. There was nothing to be scared of.
He kept walking. He walked for what felt like hours. The forest was a maze of twisted trees and thorny bushes. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and something else, something rotten.
Ugh.
Alex wrinkled his nose. Finally, he came to a clearing. In the middle of the clearing was a village, but it wasn't a normal village. The houses were made of mud and bones. The air was thick with smoke and the stench of rotting meat, and it was full of goblins. The goblins were small and wiry. They had green skin and sharp teeth. They were dressed in rags and animal skins. They were running around shouting and yelling. Some of them were sharpening their knives. Others were cooking over open fires. The sight of them made Alex's stomach churn. Section 6, the Stolen Tears.
I knew I had to be careful. The goblins were dangerous. I needed to find the unicorn's tears, and I needed to get out of there without being seen.
Alex ducked behind a bush. He watched the goblins. He needed a plan. He noticed a large hut in the center of the village. It was guarded by two particularly fierce-looking goblins. Alex had a feeling that's where they were keeping the unicorn's tears.
I waited until the coast was clear. Then I darted across the clearing. I kept low to the ground. I slipped between two huts. I could hear the goblins shouting behind me, but I didn't stop. I had to get to that hut.
Alex peeked through a crack in the wall. The hut was dark and smoky. He could see cages lining the walls. They were filled with animals, rabbits, squirrels, even a baby fox. All of them were scared, all of them were crying, and in the center of the room on a pedestal was a glass vial. Inside the vial, Alex could see the unicorn's tears. Section 7, Flight Through the Forest.
I took a deep breath. I pushed open the door to the hut.
The goblins guarding the hut turned to face him. Alex knew this was his only chance. He had to be quick.
I grabbed the vial, then I ran.
The goblins shouted in alarm. They started to chase after him. Alex dodged between their legs. He weaved around the huts. He ran as fast as he could.
I burst out of the village and into the forest. I could hear the goblins right behind me. I didn't dare slow down. I had to get back to the unicorn.
He ran through the whispering woods. The trees seemed to reach out for him with their gnarled branches. The whispers followed him, but Alex didn't stop. He couldn't stop. Not until he was safe. Section 8, The Forest Reborn.
I burst out of the forest and into the clearing. I ran to the unicorn. The unicorn looked even weaker than before. I have them!
Alex cried. He held up the vial. The unicorn's tears shimmered inside. The unicorn touched the vial with its horn. The vial shattered. The tears floated in the air. They swirled around the unicorn. Then they sank into its horn. The forest around them erupted in a blaze of light. The trees straightened. Their leaves unfurled. Flowers bloomed. The animals came out of hiding. The forest was alive again. The unicorn rose to its feet. It was strong again. It touched Alex's forehead with its horn.
Thank you. You have saved us all.
Section 9, A Magical Gift. Alex smiled. He was exhausted, but he was happy he had saved the unicorn. He had saved the forest. He had faced his fears, and he had won. The unicorn dipped its head. A single shimmering tear rolled down its cheek. It landed in Alex's hand.
This is for you, a gift, a reminder of your bravery and a promise of adventures to come.
Alex looked at the tear in his hand. It shimmered and sparkled. It was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. He knew that he would never forget this day. He knew that he would never forget the unicorn. And he knew that he would be back. The forest held a new kind of magic now. A magic that called to him. A magic that whispered of adventures yet to come.